Hello, everybody. We are live again.
Hi. Here we are.
So we have a focus 8 to 10. Be prepared.
Right. Be prepared.
Be prepared for what? That is the question.
Yeah. At the
So
moment.
in the moment is a little bit.
Do you know about the phenomenon? The phenomenon of preppers in America, but also in the world. Preppers.
Oh yes, we have it in South Africa
Yeah,
too.
people who prepare for the apocalypse, and they are the kind of people who sell them supplies and stuff are doing good business at the moment. I'll leave it at that.
I can imagine.
Yes.
No, don't leave it at that. I read an article about.
Scary, but yeah.
I read an article about a woman who was a prepper, and she had like a cabinet downstairs or something full of like supplies and things that she needs. But every time she ran out of supplies in the house, she would go to the supply closet, which she made for an emergency.
Yeah.
And eventually, so she depleted all of the resources in the supply cabinet. And this was in New Orleans. And then they had the hurricane.
And then there was the Hurricane Katrina.
Yeah, Hurricane Katrina, and she had no supplies because she kept on going back for it. It's
a disaster. That's not a good prepper. A good prepper, you leave the things. You don't dip into your emergency supplies of tinned fish.
Exactly. Okay. And then she was like, "That was my mistake. I've learned from my mistake."
The next time the world ends, I will be ready. Yeah,
exactly, because at that stage the hurricane had destroyed all the supermarkets, so there wasn't even anything you could go back for.
Wow.
So bless her soul.
Hey guys.
Oh yes, the question I put in the comment section. What is your name? Where you're from? And what was your first job? Interesting. So let's introduce some of the people before we introduce ourselves.
Nice. Okay, yeah. Ilaria. Hi, I'm Ilaria from Padua. My first job, I was a secretary, but now I'm an interior designer.
Interior starts with a vowel. An interior designer. Oh,
nice.
We have Greta. She says, "Hi, I'm from Naples.
Hello.
My first job was working in a bookshop." So a bookshop, yes, cool.
And hi, I'm Francesca. I'm from Molise, but I've been living in Bologna for 3 years. Nice. Hello. And my first job was in a basketball club as an assistant coach. Don't forget these articles, guys, with jobs.
We could review them as well. So Francesca is actually a student from our school.
Hi.
Hi, Francesca. She's actually a sweetheart. She really is.
Oh, nice.
So in the meantime, guys, while you're commenting your name, where you're from, and what was your first job, we're quickly going to introduce ourselves and then probably review quickly articles.
Great. Okay. My name is Hal, and I am from London, near to London, the outskirts of the city. It's a big city. In Woking, exactly. Actually, this morning, for some reason, not for some reason, I was procrastinating and I wasted about an hour reading about the history of Surrey, which is my county, on Wikipedia, because I really know nothing about it, because it's a very unexciting place. And there isn't much history. There isn't much history. So anyway, well, obviously everywhere has history, okay, but on the outskirts of London, and I moved to Bologna last September. Here I am, and I work for Myers. Oh, and my first job, I can answer that now. My first job, okay, when I was like a kid and at university in the holidays, like a summer job, I would sell subscriptions to a newspaper. It's a bit confusing. But my first proper job was in a museum as the marketing comms person for this little museum in London.
What was the museum about?
It's called the Cartoon Museum, and it still is, although they've moved now. It's a museum of cartoons and graphic novels, comics, that kind of thing. And political cartoons as well. Yeah, it was so good. I loved it. It's very small. It's tiny, tiny, tiny. So I was technically marketing and communications, but there are only 5 members of staff and then volunteers. So we kind of got to do everything. I loved it.
That is really so awesome. Yeah. I'm Joanna. I come from Cape Town, South Africa. I work with Hal. We are both teachers at Bologna Mille. I live in the countryside of Bologna. I've been here now for almost 3 years. My first job, so I started working when I was 15, which is actually illegal in South Africa. You have to be 16.
Also in the UK, you should be 16, yeah.
Yeah, I was 15.
Hard work, nice.
Yeah. I started off as a waitress in a pub and a restaurant. They were joined. And then when I turned 16, which this was also illegal, so I'm so sorry, I was put into the bar to be a bartender and serve alcohol, which you're not allowed to do.
Definitely not, yeah.
Whatever, I'm over age now. I'm not going to say the name of the place anyways. I ended up working there for a good 5 or 6 years.
Wow. So, was it a nice place? Like you liked your colleagues?
It was in the area I lived in, so it was really, really accessible. The colleagues, they came and go. They came and went. There was never really anyone who stuck around. But I enjoyed the clientele. I made a lot of good relationships there, and I got to meet a lot of new people from the town that I lived in. So.
Right.
Yeah. What did I want to say? Nothing after
that. Great, we've got so many lovely people writing. Okay, Martina from Bologna. I'm a physicist. I'm a pharmacist, and this is my first job.
Hi, Martina. Perfect. We have Alvira. She says, hi, it's nice to meet you again. I am Alvira from Rome.
Yes,
hi,
Alvira, I remember.
I remember too.
Hey.
I unfortunately don't remember your job. So please, I feel like she's a teacher, but I don't know. Let us know what your job is, Alvira. Francesca says, I'm happy to see you. We're happy to see you too, or to virtually connect with you.
Ilaria, my keyboard doesn't work very well, so I lose some letters. That's okay. Mine too. I'm missing a T on my old laptop. So
because you've been typing a lot.
Yeah, I can't write T's, or I have to hit it really hard. And hey, Alessandro from Treviso. I'm a student. Lovely. Cool.
Awesome. We have Mirko. Hi, guys. I've lived in Rome for 8 years. My first job was an insurance agent in the period of university. Cool. So when I was in university.
Yeah, awesome. More natural.
Yeah. Awesome. Nice to meet you.
University, you can say, right? My first job was an insurance agent. While I was at university. Yeah.
Yeah. Alvira says, I'm so sorry. I thought you were a teacher.
Doctor.
Now I'm retired, but my job for my whole life until she went into retirement was a doctor of medicine. Awesome.
Yeah. For my whole life. Yeah.
For my whole life.
Nice. Lovely to see everyone.
Maybe we can review different articles.
Right. I mean, the most important thing is when in English, if we're saying I am, we used to be, obviously, I think all you guys did that. I am, or in the past, I was a teacher. We need to have the indefinite article, okay? Even if you say, which I think, Merkel, you just did. My first job was as, you can say that, I worked as, and again, we need the article. I worked as a pharmacist, or I worked as an insurance agent. Yeah, I'm trying to think when, if ever, we use the definite article in English with jobs, but we don't really.
No, we don't use it
about a specific person, like the doctor that I saw this morning, maybe. But when we're talking about a job that we did or somebody does in general for their profession, we need to use a, an, always.
And a, or the vowel, the article a or a, we would use if the word afterwards starts with a consonant, like a teacher or a doctor. And the word with the article an usually starts with a vowel, or I don't want to complicate it now, but with words that could start with a consonant but have more of a vowel sound. For example, an honest person. Honest would start with an H, but the pronunciation or the sound sounds like an O. So, an honest.
Right.
Right.
Yeah, Greta. I have the same thing when I have to write in Italian. It's a nightmare because I have.
You write in Italian?
Occasionally, you have to write an email to someone, and I can't do the accent. I have to put a little apostrophe. Is that what you do next to the E?
Probably yes. But
or you have to go somewhere and copy it.
Definitely on Google. Yeah. I know you can change the settings on the computer itself, but of course it doesn't change the keyboard.
Right, you still have to. But
yeah,
you can...
yeah, I don't know how you do it on Mac or anything, but on normal Windows you can change the setting in the corner for the language. Then it usually helps you with the spelling.
Yeah. Okay.
It changes.
Yeah, because that's the other thing. It tells me it's all wrong. And I'm like, no, I don't think it is. I'm not sure.
When you type in Italian, change the settings if you have a normal Microsoft computer. But I don't know all of the codes or whatever to change the article. I'm sorry.
No.
That you have to manually do. You could do that by selecting the symbols, I think.
Right.
Awesome. Yes, guys. So continue commenting your name, where you're from, and what was your first job. In the meantime, I think we're going to continue with our focus. So today's focus activity, be prepared. Would you like to read, help?
It's a Disney song, isn't it? What Disney film is it from? Be prepared. Is it The Lion King? Anyone know? Be prepared. Yeah. Or I don't know if it's the name of the song or if it's just a lyric in the song. I think it's from The Lion King. I think Scar sings it when he's telling the hyenas to get ready to...
I don't know.
Anyway, if anyone has any idea what I'm talking about, please tell us if you know the name of the film. In the meantime, in this activity, we are going to look at some modals, review some modals, talk about giving advice, and preparing for an occasion. And being prepared.
I don't have the answer for your song, but I was also thinking of The Jungle Book. I don't know why.
Yeah, I'm going to look it up right now. Be prepared, Disney.
All right. I'm late.
It's The Lion King. Sorry, it's The Lion King.
Lion King. I love Lion King. So I know what you're talking about. I know exactly the scene. In your opinion, what are the worst mistakes someone can make when attending a job interview? So, before we continue, Alessandro has something to say to you.
No, these are the lyrics, exactly. I'm not going to sing it, but that's it. I never thought hyenas essential. They're crude and unspeakably plain, but maybe they've a glimmer of potential if allied to my vision and brain. Excellent. Thank you.
I wonder if you Googled that if you knew the exact lyrics.
No, surely, Alessandro, if you remembered them and typed them that quickly, incredible. But I think you must have copied them from somewhere. It's a good song.
But he says yes, he does remember. He knew the song, which is excellent. So yes, guys, I've just read a question. What I want you to do in the comment section, please comment what are some mistakes people can make when they attend a job interview. So this can be general as well. Of course, what we're going to focus majorly on. What we're going to focus on is doing job interviews in English. But what we want you to do is to even tell us some mistakes that you can make in just a general job interview in English or even Italian or French or Spanish if you're watching, guys.
Have you ever made any mistakes at a job interview that you can remember?
Probably not. The only mistake that I've made but it wasn't in the job interview. I went for the first job interview, and I was the youngest person to apply for the job interview, but they really liked that.
At the pub and restaurant.
No, this was a different one. This was like
Okay.
really, really serious when I finished high school.
Okay.
And I was the youngest person to apply for it, which they really liked because I think that they could mold me in some way. So they called me back for a second job interview. I just didn't show.
Oh.
I never showed. I don't know. I felt like it just wasn't my calling, the type of position that they were asking for or offering.
So you didn't show. You didn't show up, as we say.
I didn't show up, and I didn't even call to say I'm not coming. So
wow.
that was bad on my side.
Yeah. Okay, cool. We've got some ideas coming in. Nice.
Ooh, Martina said, I think you should avoid being overconfident and telling lies too.
Nice.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Cocky, we say. Do you say cocky, or is it an English thing?
Yeah, cocky.
Overconfident. Don't be cocky. Don't get cocky. Like
in South Africa, we use cocky as more of a negative context, not with confidence. We would use it where someone's being actually quite cheeky, quite rude, or disrespectful.
Yes. Okay. Yeah. A terrible mistake during the job interview is arriving on late. Cool. Arriving late. So on time, and then late, we don't need a preposition. We just arrive late. Okay. In my opinion, the worst mistake is coming in late, or arriving late, or coming late.
Right. No preposition, guys, for that. Alvira says, when someone attends a job interview, the most frequent mistake is arriving late to the interview. Yes, definitely.
So lateness is unacceptable. Anything else?
Ooh, I don't know.
In my opinion, you mustn't wear, I know what you mean, clothes. Inappropriate is the adjective. Clothes that are not suitable, that are not good for a formal situation, like a job interview, maybe. Inappropriate clothes. Good. Don't turn up in a bikini.
I think one of the worst mistakes is to arrive late to a job interview, or to not be prepared about the job or the company. Yeah. Yes, definitely. One good thing to do when going for a job interview, and I'm sure it's in Italian as well, is to do your research about the company.
Do your research, yeah.
It's vitally important. Because you don't even know, like, maybe a question they ask you in the interview is like, what's the history of our company? And you sit there like, man, I don't know anything about this company. I was waiting for you to tell me.
Definitely.
So no. What do you think, Hal, would be a common mistake someone makes for?
Lateness, tardiness, coming late, clothing, I guess. Although I don't think for all job interviews you don't have to dress up like formal, but you should. Depends on the job, but you should definitely look smart and clean. And I've not had too many horror stories in my experience. I remember at the this is quite specific, but at the museum where I worked with my first job, and I did get the job, but they asked me who my favorite British cartoonist was, and I started going on about Charles Schulz, who does the Peanut cartoons. You know Peanut?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I was talking about him and how much I liked him, and he's American. And they were like, well, that's okay, but he's American. And so then I had to name a British cartoonist, and my mind went completely blank, and that was very stressful. But it's okay, that's like a detail. My mind went blank, we say. I couldn't think of anything. I forgot. When somebody says, what's your favorite film? And then suddenly you can't think of any films that you have ever seen. Your mind goes blank. It's a horrible feeling in an interview, especially. So I guess, like you said, research, be ready for questions.
Alvira says, I made this mistake because I was very worried and I didn't remember the time of the interview. Oh, no.
But in that case, Alvira, I'm sure it was a mistake, but you should go early. I always go to the place to see where it is, maybe like half an hour before, and then go get a coffee around the corner, you know?
In South Africa, they always say, if, for example, your job interview is at 11 o'clock in the morning, always get there at half an hour earlier. So even if you wait in the waiting room.
Go or just walk around the block and come back.
You come back, yeah. I hate being late. I get such bad anxiety in situations like that.
I almost would rather not. Sometimes if there's like a meeting and I'm late, I'm like, I'd rather just not go than go in late.
Definitely.
I mean, after about 10 minutes, I'm like,
no, I can't. Exactly. I don't want to be in that situation.
No,
it's a nice feeling. Alvira also says another mistake is being too anxious.
Too anxious. Yeah, that's really true.
Yeah. Because in that way, you can't really answer the questions of the interviewer.
Yeah.
Because your nerves, they get the best of you.
Yeah, exactly. Your mind is too worried to focus on things. Alessandro, luckily, I've never made these mistakes yet. Good. Cool.
Oh, because you're a student. Well, I cross my fingers for you that you never do make those mistakes.
Me too. Let's hope.
Have you ever made any of those mistakes in general? Other than
wearing the wrong thing or being late?
Being late or wearing the wrong thing?
No, I don't think so. I think I've definitely I think I've had questions before about a company or a school and maybe not known that much about them. I've always been able to blag. Do you say blag or is that slang? To blag my way out of the situation.
Oh, it's to sort of
blag is to talk as if you know what you're talking about, but you don't really. You don't know, but you are blagging. So to blag would be to talk as if you know what you're talking about.
I like that, to blag.
To blag in an exam, for example, to blag is like you haven't prepared, but you manage to sound like you know what you're talking about.
And then I've done that plenty of times in an exam, especially writing. I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
And then I feel bad for the teacher who is marking it. They're like, did you even listen in any of my quizzes?
Yeah, if you're marking exams, you have to be a blag detector, I think. That's your job.
Yeah, definitely.
Exactly.
Okay. So in the meantime, let's continue to the next slide. Keep the comments coming, guys. Any mistakes that you can think of when attending a job interview? All right. So would you like to start reading?
Sure thing. Do's and don'ts. When preparing for an interview, there are a few important things to remember. You should always go over potential interview questions and practice your answers. You ought to dress nicely. Unless you live in Hawaii, you had better not turn up to an interview in shorts and a t-shirt.
It's also a good idea to keep up with recent events in the company you're applying to. By doing this, you will come across as a knowledgeable, intelligent candidate. Remember, first impressions are very important, so follow these simple steps to make sure you stand out from the crowd. So on the right-hand side, we have phrasal verbs. It says, or definitions. Find a phrasal verb in the text, which means, would you like to read them?
Yeah, we have to arrive, to review, to give a certain impression, to be different, and to be up to date.
So what we would like you to do is to find the phrasal verb in the text and then connect it to the definition. So what we would do is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We'd go in order from 1 to 6.
Nice. Exactly.
What is important to remember, guys, that a phrasal verb is a verb and a preposition together that ends up having a different verb. Oh. Hold on quickly. How? Can you hear my boyfriend speaking upstairs? Just let me know.
Yeah, but it's not too loud.
Okay,
I think you're fine. I can hear it, but it's background noise. Alarming.
Okay. So sorry for the noise background, guys.
I'm just looking if there's any vocab in here. Not the phrasals, obviously. Maybe one thing to note is that the really strong collocation of first impression, to make a first impression on someone. That's what we say in English. We don't say like the first appearance or the first anything else. The first impression. What's your first impression of someone when you meet them? What do you think when you see them for the first time? Cool, yes.
So first impression is definitely something important, like the first time you see someone. What is the common saying that they say first impressions count?
Yes, first impressions count. And you can make a bad impression and a good impression. And my impression is that it's quite important in Italy as well, as like an idea of a thing, no?
Yeah.
Cool. We have some answers. To arrive, Emanuele.
Okay, Emanuele, who else says it?
I think you guys have answered. Oh, and also Elvira. Cool.
Okay, so we can give them the first one. So to arrive would be to turn up. What about to review? Ooh, Elvira's got it. Okay, so we have to review, which would be go over.
Good, exactly. We also sometimes say to look over as well, right? If we mean literally look over, to go over, or to look over. Material, you looked at it already, and then you look at it again, you go over it again. Exactly. Give us an impression. Anyone? Oh, Francesca, yes. Nice. Francesca says, come across to give a certain impression. And Greta, cool.
Yes, to come across as. I think how we would say that, for example, I know, for example, let's say I meet Hal for the first time, and his impression of me, maybe how I spoke to Hal or how I addressed myself, Hal would say, after the situation had passed, yeah, you came across as whatever,
really
hard-headed.
friendly and warm.
Really?
Nice. Curious.
Oh, that's sweet.
Interested and interesting. Okay, I'll stop. But yeah, exactly. We would say they came across as whatever, right? And then I suppose we could also say they seemed to seem a certain way.
Exactly. To come across, we say to seem.
It's really common, right? When we're talking about people, we say they come across as something. Different. I think Greta, yeah, cool. Anyone else? And Marty as well. Yeah. To be different.
Be different, to stand out.
Good.
This is common, to stand out.
Yeah. And actually, the whole phrase here as well is common as well. To stand out from the crowd.
Yes, that is. Would you say from the crowd or to stand out? Yeah, no, to stand out from the crowd.
You're thinking in a crowd, no?
Right. But to stand out from the crowd, wouldn't that be more of an idiomatic expression rather than a phrasal verb?
Yeah. Sorry, that's what I meant. So the whole phrase together is also very common, and you can also just use the phrasal to stand out.
Yeah.
Without the rest of the expression.
And we have the last one, which Elvira does get, to be up to date, to keep up, but not to keep up to. Elvira, we would say to keep up with. So there are a lot of things that we can keep up with: technology, sports, politics.
Yeah.
What do you keep up to date with?
I keep up with politics, film, and maybe those are probably the two main ones. That's because I think if we say I keep up with something, we mean stuff that's current, that's happening at the moment, right? So we don't really say I keep up with, I don't know, medieval painting. No, it's finished. So I keep up with politics and film, probably. How about you?
I think I try to keep up with music.
Terrible at music.
I don't really know if I keep up with politics. Maybe South African politics, yes.
Yeah.
and that is about it. I don't keep up with sports or any who has a match. Even though I love sports, I don't have the time.
Yeah.
And maybe I keep up with. No, that's it. I don't keep up with technology either. I don't even have the latest.
Definitely not. Guys, tell us maybe, what do you keep up with? If you follow something, we can say as well. You keep up with some part of the news, some particular area of the yeah, what do you keep up with? Cool.
Okay. In the meantime, let us continue. So here we have the phrasal verbs again. I'm going to remove the question, but in the comment section, guys, please let us know, what do you keep up with? So on the right-hand side, we have the phrasal verbs from the previous slide. So to turn up, go over, come across as, stand out, and keep up with. We are going to read sentence for sentence. What we want you to do is fill in the gaps with the correct phrasal verb.
Exactly. First one. Number 1, a well-written CV will help you from the other candidates.
Awesome. So yes, you could do it one by one. So 1 would be number 2. You should never late to an interview.
Number 3, you ought to the information on your CV to make sure it is correct and up to date.
Number 4, in order to be a good candidate, you must new developments in your industry.
Number 5, pay attention to your body language. Sit up straight. I'm actually standing now, but yeah, sit up straight.
Standing the whole time?
Yeah. Did you not know that? That's why I can. I'm standing.
I'm sitting like this, like I'm all hunched over.
No, I made a little, because I have bad posture, not as well as in, I'm not speaking for you, but I have
bad posture. I never used to have. I have for the last 4 years of Europe.
So I made a standing desk thing. Anyway, pay attention to your body language. Sit up straight, make eye contact, smile, and don't fidget. This will help you confident and focused. Fidget is to move.
To do with your hands.
Yeah, to move little things with your hands. Fidget. Children do it a lot. We say to children, stop fidgeting. They sit on a chair and they keep moving things.
Or like if you're nervous, you fidget a lot. Like you will do something with your hands, touch your ear, maybe touch your nose too much when you speak.
Yeah, exactly.
Strange things that you wouldn't do if you're relaxed.
Yeah. Although some people are just fidgety. They just fidget lots. No, cool, guys. This is wonderful. Also, we had some people tell us what they keep up with, which is always interesting. So, where are we? Marty said, I keep up with psychology and science. Cool.
Francesca says, I keep up with music, TV series, and technology too.
And Manuele, I keep up with technology and sports. I don't keep up with politics. The general thing is politics, plural.
Yes. Nobody else commented that they keep up.
There's one more.
Greta, yeah. I keep up with Netflix series right now, to be honest. I do too.
I think lots of people are in the same boat. Cool.
Okay, well, let's go through the correct phrasal verb. Number 1, we have a lot of people that say come across as. But it's not come across as. Marty got it correct though.
Yeah, Marty and a few other people. Emanuele, Francesca, yeah, good job.
Okay, so to stand out. Guys, remember that to stand out just basically means to be better.
Yeah, we also use it sometimes adjectively, like a standout moment in a film, right? Or a standout song on an album, no? Is like the piece of a whole thing that is the most important, the most special in some way.
Or it could be used negatively as well. Like it stood out in a negative concept.
Something stood out because it was strange. It didn't fit with everything else. That's true. Yeah.
You're right. So now we have number 2. What did everyone else say?
Turn up.
Everyone turn up.
Good job.
Yeah.
Exactly.
You should never. Yes, good job, guys. And number 3, I'm scrolling through to see what everyone said. You ought to. Alvira says to go over.
Ilaria as well.
And Manuele as well. Let's check.
And Francesca. Good job. Yes.
Then we have number 4. In order to be a good candidate, you must. Marti has got it. Let's see if anyone else has it too.
Francesca.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome.
And Elvira. Nice job, guys.
And Elvira. Awesome. Yes. This is really, really important if you work in an industry where it changes a lot. For example, let's say you work in the automobile industry. Technology for cars change all the time, and people are interested in one thing, or there a new thing comes out, like what is it? Electric cars.
Yeah. I don't know anything about cars, but for example,
hybrid, or even just being a teacher, like an English teacher. We have so many. It's an ever-changing industry. Can start from textbooks or to online, like what we're doing now. But the way to teach changes incredibly from year after year.
Yeah.
And the most important one that I think they always keep up with new developments is being a doctor.
Yeah, obviously, like you need to be aware of the latest practices, we would say, the latest way of doing your job. Exactly.
Yes.
And 5 is the one we have left, right?
Yes.
And
to come across as. Well, this is really important. I know sometimes it's really uncomfortable to smile at somebody you don't know.
I agree, actually, yeah.
But it is important because you sort of can give your personality like that. You can say, I am a nice person. I'm just maybe a little bit uncomfortable.
I'm a nice person, honestly. Smile.
Yeah, smile.
Exactly.
All right. We have some personal questions. Hal, would you like to start reading them?
Sure. Number 1, what do you think makes people stand out in an interview? Number 2, have you ever turned up late to an important event? And number 3, do you often go over possible questions before an interview?
Number 4, is it better to come across as excited and eager or quiet and confident? And number 5, why is it important to keep up with the new developments in your industry? Right. Cool. So, guys, in the comment section, please let us know, what do you think makes people stand out in an interview? I think that maybe Hal and I will have different opinions because we come from different countries. So
I imagine. I have a question. Do you put do people put photos of themselves on CVs in South Africa?
Generally speaking, no.
Okay.
Like when I remember when I was in high school and they were teaching us how to make a CV for when we leave school.
Yeah.
It wasn't mandatory to put a picture of ourselves up on. But I think maybe it's a lot more appropriate because I tell you why I say it's more appropriate. So in South Africa, we're very culturally diverse. And we have people from different races, black, colored, Indian, Chinese, white. And maybe I would prefer to put a picture of myself on the CV rather than writing in my CV, I am a Caucasian female.
Right, okay, I see,
Because I feel for myself, you shouldn't get the job based on your race, but you should get the job based on your experience and your qualifications. But in South Africa, it doesn't work like that. They need to have like a quota of black people working in a company, white people working in a company. What about in the UK?
No, it's a thing that I'd never heard of, but I think in Italy, you guys can correct me if I'm wrong. I think in Italy it does happen sometimes that people put photos, right? But in the UK, never. I never heard of that.
I think it's changing now that we have LinkedIn as well. People get to see you directly.
This is true, exactly. Or they can look you up on Facebook before you even meet them. Yeah.
I don't like that.
Yeah, but it happens, no?
It does happen. I don't think it's appropriate, though, in my opinion.
No, I agree. Cool. Some nice answers. Emanuele, number 1. I think that speaking English, we're going to use the gerund, speaking, because we're talking about the general activity here. So I think that speaking English very well makes people stand out in an interview. Cool. Yes. I guess that is important in lots of professions.
Then again, Emmanuel, just remember, it depends on the job you're applying for. So if the job, they want you to speak Spanish, does speaking English really help?
Do they? I mean, I would find an interview in a second language must be so stressful. Yeah, really stressful. Marty.
You stand out in an interview if you try to be yourself and if you have great communication skills. Man, great sentence.
I think that's really true as well. I was thinking this earlier. The interviews that have gone well for me in the past, or the ones that have gone really well, are the ones where I'm not trying to pretend to be something that I'm not. Different in some way, exactly. Yeah, and I always think that if you pretend, if you try and be something else, and then you get the job, but you were being fake, you're probably not going to enjoy the job. It's probably not for you, no?
Exactly. Or the companies expect something from you.
Yeah.
And we're not going to be able to give it.
Yeah, exactly. So be yourself. Alessandro said the same thing. I think that being yourself, again, the gerund, being yourself is very important. To be different, to stand out, right? Nice.
Greta goes on to say, most of all, be prepared or seem prepared, and never give the impression of being there randomly.
Randomly, the adverb, because it describes being there. Good, yeah.
Definitely. Alvira goes on to say,
I think you give a good impression if you are sure of all information, uncountable here, information, singular, that you have a strong knowledge of your matter, of your material, or of the subject, or of the profession, or the job, or the material, not matter. Good, cool. Yeah. You need
Francesca says,
have a grip on the material.
I think people, remember, Francesca, you don't need to say to stand out. We're using the phrasal verb itself. I think people stand out and have to be genuine and confident. Okay, yes. That's what Hal was saying. So to be yourself, be genuine.
Genuine, yeah.
It's better. Would you like to read Greta's comment?
Definitely, Greta, thank you. I've never prepared myself for a job interview just cause. Great, just cause I think the best thing is to be natural, just yourself, maybe the best version of you, starting with the appearance, but yourself. Okay, so don't change how you look too much. I agree. I'm going to say something. I think, okay, I don't know what you guys think or what you think, Joanna. It's important to prepare, but there is such a thing as over-preparing. And I think sometimes if you become too anxious and you prepare lots, you over-prepare, you do too much preparation, then you can go into the interview very stressed and very unnatural. Like you have the questions that you've prepared, and then if they don't ask them, you don't know what to do. You know? Or you try and give an answer that you've prepared before, but it's not the correct answer because it's not responding to their question. And that can be, that's not good. That's not good. You need to be as relaxed as possible.
I agree with you too. I don't think I've actually really, and this sounds like I'm being very maybe self-centered and conceited, but I've worked in a lot of places and I've gone for a lot of interviews.
Uh-huh.
And I also, when they've offered the position, I've also turned down a lot of places. I've never gone into an interview feeling like I wasn't going to get the job. I always knew the interview I was going into, I got it. I don't know, that's definitely being conceited.
Yeah, no. But it's just a kind of confidence.
Overconfident. But I just had more of a gut feeling to say, I've got this job, it's mine. I mean, even if I didn't have the qualifications for it, I have a great personality, and because I'm young, and I think that what companies look for, they want to mold the younger people. So I'm moldable, man. I can be your scientist if you really wanted me to.
Yeah, maybe we should explain mold. To mold, to shape something, to make a shape in something. So if you think of, like, for example, clay, if you take some clay, some material, some earth, and you mold it into a shape, that's what an artist might do. And they make a cute little bowl or a statue, they mold it into a shape. Yeah, and we also use it like Joanna did to mold somebody into a certain role or position. Yeah.
Somebody said something earlier on about lying. I wanted to tell them a story. So I worked as a manager. I told them the story, and I had a guy come in for an interview because I was leaving this place. So I needed someone to replace me, and this guy, he looked good. Like, his CV seemed really excellent, and he had a reference. So keep in mind, a reference is a company that will support your decision, or they will say, you know, this is a good guy, take him, like, he has great experience. I phoned his reference, and the first thing that came out of the reference mouth was, I wouldn't recommend this guy, he steals. And I was like, I just sat on the phone, I was like, oh, okay, thank you for your time, put it down. I phoned the guy again and I said, hey, buddy, I'm sorry about this. You really did seem like a good candidate, but your reference has said that you stole. So if I were you, I'd either speak to your reference or remove them from your reference list. So yeah, so also maybe make sure the references stick up for you. Because maybe, you know, you're a hard worker, but you had a manager that just didn't like you. And then when you phone, the manager's like, no.
Yeah, you should always check with your references. Because I think even if your references like you, it can seem a bit rude if you haven't asked them and they just get a call or an email from someone that says, what do you think of this person? And then they'll be in a bad mood when they're writing it or on the phone. So you should always inform them beforehand that you put them down. I'd forgotten to do that in the past. I admit it. You didn't give the guy the job, did you? No.
No.
You can't. After that, you can't, right? That's the problem. Even if he was a nice person, if the reference tells you that they stole from the company or whatever, then
I could like trust you, but I don't work there anymore. So ultimately, you make me look like an idiot.
Yeah. Right.
Alvira says it is possible to come across quiet and confident.
Question number 4. Yeah, I was actually thinking about this earlier, and I think my answer to question 4 would be, it is better to come across as excited and confident. I would put those two together. Because I do think quiet, but you want to seem enthusiastic, no? You don't want to seem cold or come across as detached. That's not good.
I also think that if you come across too quiet in a position, that if they do give it to you, people will walk all over you. And I don't think that's what people want. Show them that you're strong, you have leadership qualities, because that could help you later on in the company.
Yeah. I tell you what, you should, if you ever need another job, you can coach people. So,
like a life coach,
for job interviews, for work.
I'm not gonna lie, but out of every focus at the school, I love preparing people for interviews.
There we go. She's good, isn't she? I think everyone would agree. We're nearly out of time, guys. It's been really nice to spend this 15 minutes with you on the last day of March, spring afternoon.
Yes. if you guys have any questions, any grammar related or anything regards to English, you're more than welcome to go to our Facebook page. It's called MySOS. There you can ask anything. And also, if you wait another 10 more minutes, there will be a webinar for you on your exact same level. But it won't be with us for today. So for today, guys, I'm going to say goodbye and have an awesome Tuesday.
Thank you, guys. It's been really fun. Have a nice afternoon.